to see you again. And literally everyone here, I want to just really warmly welcome you, as David probably already did. It looks like you're already in the groove, and I cannot imagine a more important theme right now in our world than to usher in the age of enheartenment. That is, for me, so inspiring to be here with you today and contribute to it, because we have come to the edge. There is no doubt about it. And the survival of all beings right now is hanging on a mere thread. So we see this. The old world is crumbling, and the new one is like a tiny sprout that's coming out, like with spring. It hasn't fully emerged yet. So we stand here on the precipice together, and we are choosing where it's going to go. Will we be the ones who will turn our repeat suffering history into an epic love story that our great-grandchildren will pass forward? Will you be the one to plant the tree of life with us in the midst of the hell that's unfolding right now? These are the questions we can ask. And for me, the answer is one of the most important answers, to say, let's put the heart on center stage and unleash love, come what may. For that, I want to tell you an amazing story, real life story that happened last year, that shows us what's possible when we engage the heart in the midst of the greatest difficulty, and how it can show us a way out of no way, how it can make the impossible possible. So one night at 1:00 a.m, I received a call repeatedly, and I picked it up because I figured it is urgent, from a friend of mine. And she called me panicked with the most terrible news. We have a safe house and orphanage in the Congo. As many of you know, this is a place of ongoing wars. It's, I would say, the pit of hell in this world. And she said, Nicola, I have no idea what to do. The rebels are coming within hours to take over the village, our safe house, and our kids. And we knew what would happen, because then they use rape as a war weapon. They don't just kill everybody, they also rape the children. So we have 70 kids. What do you do in such a situation? My friend is in the US, I'm in Europe. Our little team is in the Congo, almost unreachable. And Herman, we call him our saint. Yes, he's kind of the overseer of the whole orphanage and safe house. He was the only one we barely could reach, because internet is a big problem over there. And we set up a little WhatsApp thread. That's where WhatsApp comes in handy. And we said, okay, we have about 3 hours max. What do we do to save our kids? What do you do when those you care the most about, who are vulnerable, what do you do when their life is in threat? And then somehow that's the situation we are in right now in our world. In that moment, I knew we have to call in on greater powers. We have to get in the holy gang. Call them all in. I said to everyone, let's center, take a moment. and center into the heart. Call in the Holy Gang. Call in all allies, seen and unseen. And enter into the stillness right in the center of the heart where there are answers that mind cannot yet comprehend. And we calm down our panic, our urgency. We centered into the body, into the ground. And then in the moment, it took only moments. It was so beautiful when we connected to the love, how much we loved the kids. In that moment, it was clear what the next steps are. Each one got an answer. Because you see, sometimes you don't get an answer for the whole situation. You get your piece to do. I send a message to a large community of people who study with me and said, anybody who's up now, light your candles, put a prayer of protection around our kids, and send us power juju, love, really strong. Pass forward the message. So that was set up. My friend suddenly, Herman had the idea of contacting some other people in the Congo. And my other friend said, okay, I'm going to get in funds. I'm going to send a message worldwide to get more money in so we can help the kids. We'll see what happens. And in the space, when we were sitting in that love space, in that power space, a call came in and somebody said, hey, you guys, I have a boat. And it was a wooden rowboat on the lake that wasn't far away from the village. It was a mile or so away. So we were like, oh my God, there's a boat. And the boat could go to the island where there was an old fallen apart church, abandoned church. I mean, how is this possible, right? So then the whole team on the ground packed up the kids really fast with the goats, with the chickens. Some carried food bags. Some carried some clothes, some blankets. They couldn't carry so much, it was just in a hurry. And the kids from ages 5 to 15, they ran with the little backpacks and some of them bar feet. We had to get them out. And the goats, some of them carried the goats and the chickens were screaming around. And they arrived at the boat. Luckily, the boat was barely big enough to fit all 70 kids and the adults into it. They squeezed like, sardines into it. I saw a short video. Herman was able to take a short video, and it was so funny to see the goats climbing around on the kids, and suddenly they all started singing. Yeah, it was a power song, a Congolese power song that would calm everybody down, but would give everybody the strength of this. We are going to have victory here. And as the boat pushed off, you could hear in the village the machine guns. You could hear the screaming, the horror unfolding. And yet the boat sailed into the sea and crossed to the island. And in that moment, we knew at least these kids were saved. And we also knew that we had no more funds because all the food was ransacked by the rebels. Days later, one of our team went to the village and everything was taken. There was a huge bloodbath. So he lit the candles there. He lit a candle there in honor of those who had been killed. But the food was gone, months of storage of food. And as the story spread through the world, the beauty that happened was so moving. So many people spontaneously felt moved in their heart to act and send funds to us. Because we are a very small organization. It's like everything goes straight to the kids and the people who take care of them. None of us earns a penny on that. And so with that connection call throughout the world, everyone who could pitched in. And after a month or so, we brought the kids back to the house. And there's still so much turmoil going on in the Congo. But, with the heart, we created a Garden of Eden for them, where each kid has school, has food, is in a refuge, and they're happy. Even though we cannot guarantee full safety, but it was only possible for them to thrive now. It was possible because we united in the heart. We unleashed love and we acted from it together. And it made the impossible possible. And it showed a way where there literally was no way. And that, I feel, is a testimony of what love can do if we act together on it. So I hope in some way this story touched you, touched your heart. Just let me know if a heart comes up, just send an emoji over. Because I feel we have something to celebrate, even if there it is. Even if the whole world in many places is still in disarray and it seems like a small drop, but it's a mighty drop. And I can feel that the theme of the age of enheartenment is like is a power as we unleash this more and more together. So much more will be possible. And I want to tell you about, mysticism and science. Thank you for the hearts. Mysticism and science agrees on one thing, that the heart intelligence is the highest of all. And I would say that is finally, thank God, proven. That what we know inside of us. I have a client. I work also with men and leaders and teachers and healers. And he is a scientist in a really prestigious institution, high-level guy, high intelligent. But he's also got a heart, and he loves human connection. So he had a question for his own life that he couldn't answer. And it was a question that would affect, he had to make a choice that would affect his entire life, including his family, including the institution, everything. And so he was, in his mind about it, weighing the pros and cons like we also do. And just kept circling around, got himself into a dizzy. You may have experienced that at times. And then I let him talk for a while, and then we worked a little bit to get into his heart, to get centered. And I just invited him to see what it's like if he puts the heart in center stage and asks, what would his heart love to do in this situation? And to let the mind just bow down for a moment and listen. It took him 3 seconds and he knew. He just knew what to do, what's the right choice. That would affect, I would say, several hundred people. And then he sat there like, yeah, but I can't do that. I have to figure this more out with my mind. You know how that goes sometimes, where the mind comes in again and says, yeah, but that's nice what the heart says, but I can't just do that. So we went back and forth, and I also told him, as you know, the heart has the highest intelligence. And he said, yeah, well, that's from the mystical standpoint. He's a meditator too. But I said, no, from the scientific, because heart math has meanwhile proven it. And also, when you look at the heart, it literally has the deep knowing of what is right to do, what is beneficial to do. It's embedded in us. It's a deep knowing that we actually can trust if we want to. And it also has the capacity to take in the wholeness of a situation. So it doesn't leave you out. It doesn't leave the needs out of the workers. It doesn't leave anything out. And right in the middle, it finds what is for the highest best if we tune into that. It has a wisdom that's incomprehensible for the mind. And as some of you know me, I have also communicate with animals and all that. That's only possible because the heart knows the communication that goes from soul to soul, from heart to heart. It has a language that we have just buried and forgotten. And so he finally, I said, just give it a try. What's it like to just let your heart be in the driver's seat of your life? As he did that, I said, how do you feel in your body? What do you experience when you do that? And he said, well, I feel expansive, I feel centered, I feel strong. And I said, and how do you feel when you put your mind on the center throne? And he said, I feel frazzled, confused, I go back and forth. I said, so go back and forth between the heart and the mind. And for a while we did that. And at some point he said, for goodness me, I'm just going to do what my heart tells me to do. And he did. And it made a huge impact in a positive way that surprised many at his work. So this is why I think when we put literally the heart at the center stage in small moments and in big moments, to practice that. Because it is a practice. And to trust that it has literally the highest intelligence and knowing. We tap into the living truth. The living truth that all mystics point to. The living truth that is embedded behind your rib cage, in your spiritual heart. It's that living truth that makes you feel alive. And it's the living truth because it is fresh, new. It doesn't sit on concepts. Concepts is what the mind does. We have a concept about love. We have a concept about many things, and we file them in our file cabinets. We have a philosophy about many things, and that's very beautiful because it's important to train the mind too. But if we really want to embody the living truth, we need to practice to come into alignment with the deep heart, to move the boxes in front of the entry of the chamber of the heart, to recognize what burdens we have piled up for a long time. We can't just hop above it because then you fall back. But you can say, okay, these are my burdens and I can touch them. My heart can touch them with a compassion, with a validation. Yes, there is betrayal that often closes people's hearts. It's when you're betrayed, it's a searing pain. When somebody rejects you, you clutch up. That's often the case because we are more afraid of emotional vulnerability than anything else. And emotional vulnerability is required to live close and then really in the heart. It means we have to, as Hafiz say, welcome all the joys and all the pains, or in Khalil Gibran's writing, where he asked Amrita, tell me about love. And he says, welcome all the joys, all the pains, because if you're not, you better pass out of the threshold of love. It is the deal. There is no way around it. To meet the duality in this world. Because here's the mystical part, the nous of the heart, as the Gnostics talk so much about, is the nous is not the mind, it's the heart mind. And as we reside, if you reside more and more in the heart nous, there is a place that is indescribable for the human mind because it unites human and divine. It unites the material and the spiritual, the mystical and the scientific. It unites every realm. And in that place, I often see a table that welcomes literally the sinner and the saint, the beast and the beauty, the sorrow and the joy. Everything is included. Fear is not the opposite of love. And hatred is also not the opposite of love. Hatred, it's a mix of pain and anger, and it's not digested. And when you act it out, of course, it creates havoc. But when love is the abiding force at that table and says, here, all of you get to sit on the table, none of you get to act out, and none of you needs to hide in a closet. And we find a way that everybody has some bread on the table. We find a way that everyone has a place where you belong. And the heart, in my experience, also unites the feminine and the masculine. It's not just the feminine. Yes, we need the feminine power way more now. But we need also the masculine, the healthy masculine, that says, I'm going to, not on our watch, we protect these children now. Because that's how I found the power in the middle of that story, where I could unite the people in the team, where I sat there and like, not on our watch. Hell no. They will not rape our kids. They will not kill them. So this fierceness and this gentleness combined, because often what happens is when we hear the word heart, it sounds soft, like a sweet bunny or a cute cat we can hold on our lap. That's sweet. And Hallmark has milked it. And we need the gentleness, no question. We need the softening. We have become way too armored and hardened. But we also need the fierceness, fierce love that can say, not on our watch. This will not pass. And that requires to be able to allow that power of love, to allow the power that the heart actually has that we have denied. We have literally in our world, but often in our own lives, we dismiss, we devalue the heart. Like it's an afterthought. Like, you know, the heart, you can just put it on the side and pull it out on a Sunday afternoon when you have some nice friends over. But what would it be like to put the heart on the center stage every moment, every day of your life? And that doesn't happen by itself, but it does start with a choice. I make the heart my altar. I make the heart, my heart is where God is, where the goddess is, where truth resides. And it is for everyday life. And it is for unleashing a love the world has never seen before. It is the place where we find solace. It's the Garden of Eden. And what would it be like if we practiced it? Like going back and forth. Okay, what's it like if I live right now disconnected? How does it feel in me? And what does it feel like if I take a breath? You can all take a breath with me for a moment into the heart. And even put your hand on your heart. And say, thank you, my heart, for shining that flame, even that indestructible flame, even if I have turned away from you 1,000 times and more. Even if I've forgotten you, put you into the garbage can, locked you up, dismissed, denied. May I forgive myself for that. This is a practice, and may I open and say, yes, I'm willing to let you sit on the throne of my life, even if I don't know how that looks like yet. That benediction, that devotion is what opens the door and allows the heart to shine forth. It opens the door to your inmost sanctuary. And you can go there every day. And sometimes you can't open the door yourself. So then ask your heart, please open the door for me. Please come through, even if my mind is completely cluttered, even if I have 1,000 judgments. Please come forth. I invite you. This invitation is needed. And then not just once, but maybe every morning on your meditation cushion, please come forth. Surprise me. Speak unto me. I'll lean in and listen. Because the God, the Garden of Eden, the Goddess, all the greatness, the indestructibility that we're searching for, and so many fingers point in 1,000 directions. And we can just turn that finger to our own heart, because right there, the treasure is. And it's your task to open the treasure box. That maybe it's a big one, maybe it's a small one, but to find that gift inside of you that's waiting and aching to come forth, to unleash into a world that's screaming for you, saying, please, bring your gift forth. Because right now, we are on this incredible edge with an immense opportunity to unleash love like there is no tomorrow. And for this, I don't know how long time do I still have, David? Can you tell me? Or Alan.
Well, yes. We finish at 10:45, so about another 34 minutes.
Okay. Because I started a little bit early, I want to make sure that we have time for questions as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. So when I talk about the news of the heart in the Gnostic tradition, if we can call it, when you center into that, it's often described as a wellspring or a flame that lives inside. There are many words for that eternal spring. And one of the things that I find is very beautiful is to know this wellspring will never run dry. We can feel sometimes compassion fatigue, like especially in my profession, it's often like working with so many people, there is a compassion fatigue as therapists or psychologists. And I think it has only to do with one thing. When we have that, when we encounter that, is that we are not connecting to let the wellspring fill us. And so often people who care, and some of you who are big carers, sometimes you can feel, who's caring about me? Who's loving me? Have you ever had that question? Raise your hand. Yes. Yeah. It's like the sense of separation. I'm left out. Yeah. I'm constantly listening to others' issues, or I'm there for others. Who's looking out for me? So this is a common experience. And also that experience of I'm not really loved. There's Joe who loves me a little bit, and there's Jane who loves me also a little bit. But the wholeness of me, who loves you in that way? Rare, right? True love is rare on this earth, on this world, rare to find. But here's the good news. When we enter the wellspring inside the heart, there is the beloved. There is the one who you have been searching for all your life. There is the one who opens the arms wide and says, welcome home, welcome. I have awaited you to love you. in a way that you always longed for. I think something is divinely arranged that we can only find that inside of us. That in the world gives us a taste and sometimes truly a meeting, which is a blessing. But to find it like in the forever and the always, it's right here. And it doesn't mean we don't open our doors to others, because there is such a beauty and such a joy when you dance together with others. And maybe when you have been speaking with others, or even here in this conference, you experience there's a resonance, there's a connection that too opens the heart, that too allows the heart, the love to unleash. And so we need each other for that. It's not a one, oh, I'm just going on my meditation cushion and be filled with love. No, you go outside too, into the world to engage. And there we open to greater love with each other. And there we also run into the barriers. As Rumi said, remove the barriers to love. Your only task is that. And the barriers, well, you bounce into it when you talk with somebody and this person doesn't agree with you, this person gets mad at you. Suddenly, you may be able to stand open-hearted. Well, that's great. You may also notice a slight shift inside where their armor gets put on. Or you might be able to notice the armor and take a breath and relax back into your body, breathe into your heart and ask, all right, what would my heart want to say now in this situation? So this practice, I would say, is essential, because there's also a capacity in the heart that when we face the situation in the world, and it can be so daunting. I've heard from so many people, maybe you've heard it too in the last couple of months, it's just one shockwave after another. It's complete insanity unfolding here on the world stage. And you're just like, I'm just not going to listen to this. I think part of it really don't listen to the whole insanity, but part of it is also train yourself. This is the task now. Train yourself that you can meet the suffering, that you can stand your ground, that you can stand with heart. It's a training. And it's the most deepest and profoundest training we can undertake in our lives. To become like the soul, it gets incarnate, wants to incarnate into our bodies. Well, and then we expect the Garden of Eden is already prepared for us in this world. There comes the first shock. No, it isn't. So the soul, the more, those beings here right now on earth who have come for a mission, and I imagine all of you have come for that. Your soul wants to incarnate to bring forth greater love into this world, or greater truth, or harmony, whatever your call is. And in incarnating, it means we have to be able to meet the horrors as well as the beauty. Now, from our smallness, we feel we can't. But from the heart bigness, from our true nature, we can. And it only takes that little bit of willingness. Let me meet this. Because if we hadn't, with the Congo, for example, if I had pulled my head, I had to put the blanket over my head and think, oh no, too much, I would have fallen into a heap of helplessness, including the others. Well, the kids would all be dead. So the difference seems so small, but it's so mighty. That shift back into the heart, that trust, and to allow the love to unleash and take action from that, because only if we take action can it actually become, our realization can be actualized. It's like you can have the most beautiful, illuminating realizations, but only if we put it into action does it become actualized and therefore embodied. And that's how it makes a difference in the world, how we plant the tree of life right in the midst of the storm, how we bring forth a wave, a golden wave. Imagine that for a moment. We stand together on the shore. Just go with me on this one. We stand together on the shore, on the edge of a world crumbling. And there's a sea of suffering, but we feel our hands together linked. And you can sense for a moment anything that helps you to feel love in your heart. Love for humanity, love for the creatures, for the planet, for yourself, for your friends. Just feel into that with me for a moment. And as you sit there, it's like you blow on this flame to let it become bigger, that heart flame. Breathe into that. Maybe you feel it as a warmth or a tenderness or a joy. Just feel into that. And together now, as we're holding the hands, we're moving into that sea of all with our feet, our hands, our hearts. We're moving into this world through all the turmoil, through the darkness, and we raise the torch really high, really high. And you feel that power from within. And we walk right through everything. And as we walk through that sea of suffering, it's getting flooded by us with a golden light. And in the center of the darkness, right there, we plant that tree of life and we raise the torch high. And there we plant the Garden of Eden with a huge table for everyone who wants to come to join us here. And some of you bring food, some of you bring drink, some of you go out and gather the people from the darkness. Some of you are musicians, some of you are the poets, and there's a resounding call throughout the world. Come one, come all. Come serve and be served. Come first, come last. At this table of love. You are welcome here. And this is what we plant right now. Come what may. Just feel that love rippling out and people finding their way to the Garden of Eden we just planted together here. Thank you.
Nicola, thank you so much.